Hello, welcome. I'm here with a guest today. This is JR from JRC Immigration and Visa Services. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Excellent. And today he's going to offer some really valuable information on how to get your visas or renew your visas and other services that you offer.
Gary, thank you for having me here. I truly
you're very
appreciate
welcome.
that.
Very welcome. Thanks for being here.
Yeah. Basically, the JRC Visa Consultancy and Immigration Services started way back 7 to 8 years ago. So our main services are actually for the visa and immigration services going to the Philippines. So our clients are actually the foreigners wanting to live and relocate here in the Philippines, and alongside also with for those who are former Filipinos who wanted to go back here. So those are our basic services that we have. Alongside with that, we have complementary services because by profession I'm also a licensed real estate broker. Okay. So we also do some consulting stuff just in case you need a resource of information. We can actually do a sit-down meeting and let's take a look at documents as well, because there are a lot of instances that we have encountered that they bought a land and the land is problematic, the documents, that is where we at. We may not be the people who can provide you with the inventory, or we may not be the people who works for it, but we can be your good resource of information here alongside with the visas.
That's good to know.
To your subscribers and your future subscribers, 13A is actually a visa by virtue of your marriage to a Filipino citizen. So it comes also sometimes with different terminologies, but the core of that is a spousal visa. It can be 13A, it can be also TRV, and it can be also MCL. But at the end of the day, those are spousal visa.
Okay.
The difference is...
Yeah, please, I'd like to know.
One is 13A for those non-visa required foreign nationals in the Philippines. One good example of that is from the US, UK, Japan. So you belong in that category. And all other nationalities. And you can actually take a look at that and research for the list of that. Now, TRV is another terminologies on the spousal visa side that actually includes Polish, Indian, and the reason for that is by virtue of the diplomatic relationship between the Philippines and your country. So that's how it revolves. The MCL is actually another terminology by virtue of a Chinese married to a Filipino citizen. At the end of the day, common denominator, that's a spousal visa.
Right.
Okay. Now, two things that you need to understand. For every visa application here in the Philippines comes with two major parties, petitioner and the applicant. So the applicant is the foreign spouse, and the petitioner is the Filipino spouse.
Okay.
So there are a few things that are actually popping up and would probably would also sometimes cause a problem. Number one, if you get married outside the country, make sure that you're gonna report your marriage in the Philippine consulate.
Okay.
That's very important. Because if you come here and you don't have the marriage certificate, you cannot apply for the spousal visa. Because one of the major requirements is the marriage certificate, a PSA copy of the marriage certificate, the yellow copy.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to stop there. I have a question on
Sure,
that
no problem.
All right. When I did my visa, I actually got married online, so my marriage certificate was from America. And when I applied for my 13A, I did not at that time have a report of marriage. But it didn't seem to be a problem. I still managed, they still processed the visa. I think what I had to provide was the apostille or something.
Correct.
So you can apply without having your marriage reported in the Philippines.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
That's a very good point, because I think you got your 13A spousal visa during the COVID time. The
Yes,
height of the situation where nobody like, okay, what are we trying to do?
Yeah.
So at that time, the online marriage is new. And for that particular document or the marriage certificate to be acceptable here, it needs to be apostilled.
Right.
So since the US and the Philippines are member of the Apostille Convention, doing the apostillization is already acceptable at that time.
Yeah.
Now, fast forward 2024, we are going back to normal.
Okay, I didn't know that. So
So
that's why we're doing the video.
Yes.
It's very informative.
correct. So, number 2, the visa interview is already up in place. I'm actually right now like being a comparison, having the comparison of the time during COVID and now.
Okay.
We are gearing towards back to normal, the new normal right now.
The new normal. Okay.
Yeah, so in every visa application here in the Philippines, forming part of the process is a visa interview of both spouses.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Before, it was not felt because you only have to fill out the questionnaire.
Right, correct. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
in prevention of transmitting the COVID at that point, so they do away with that. They have a substitute paperwork, which is the questionnaire, and now they're trying to put it back again.
Okay.
Or simply, they have put that back in place.
All right.
That is very important.
Yeah.
It is. And make sure during the interview, you will be prepared with the basic questions. When did you get married? Do you have pictures? If you're annulled or divorced from your country of origin before, make sure you have copies.
Okay.
And when you don't show up in the interview, that could be a possible grounds for denial.
Wow. Wow.
This is very important.
And this is come in effect this year, right? You said
Yes.
2024. So-
Yes.
Okay, that's really good to know.
Yes.
I certainly didn't. So, awesome. All right. Well, okay. I've got another question then. When you have finally received your visa and it's stamped in your passport, what happens if your passport, say, expires at the time you have the visa stamp in there? Do you get to use the old passport with the visa, or do you have to transfer a new stamp in the new passport?
That's a very good, curious question. By virtue of the regulation of the Philippine immigration, if you have a new passport right now and an old passport, which happened that your visa stamp is already at the old passport, you need to have that re-stamp or transfer to the new passport. However, I'm pretty sure that there will be discussions on this on your video, because there might be, hey, I was still using my old passport and a new passport using this. Up to some extent, that could be applicable. However, if you wanted really to abide by the law or the procedure, the best thing that you can do is to have it transferred.
Okay.
That's the best thing.
All right. And is it true it needs... Well, this is the service you can offer. You do this,
Yes.
right? Because I spoke to somebody that actually had this issue where they they were told they needed to transfer their stamp in their passport to their new passport, but they were originally approved in Manila, and they said, well, you've got to go to Manila to do this. You can't do it in Cebu.
Exactly.
Is that still kind of
Yes.
the case? But if they use your service, you can just, in Dumaguete, where we're at, they can go to the office here and for a modest fee, they'll take care of it, right?
Exactly, yes. We
Okay.
can. Why? We do have an office in Manila. We do have an office in Dumaguete, and we do have an office in Cebu, which is our main office. Why this is... Let's go back to your question.
Yeah.
Why is it that you need to file the restamping in Manila? Why? Because you have filed and processed your application or spousal visa application in Manila office.
Okay.
There would be a big possibility that immigration in Cebu does not have your record.
Okay.
So that's the reason behind it. So imagine if you're in Dumaguete, you travel all the way to Manila. I don't know what inconvenience it can bring you out. I don't know what's your purpose going there, but that is the one that we're trying to give you in terms of your value, so that we can actually help you with that conveniently.
Okay.
Because your time is very valuable. Every day is very valuable.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Awesome. Well, while we're still on 13A visa, because a lot of people want to know this stuff. There's another question I have for you then.
Please.
Well, first of all, once you've been approved, the first year is a probationary
Correct.
visa. Okay, so you have to go through this whole application process to get a 1-year probation, and then after 1 year, you're going to change that status to a 5-year permanent. Now you only have to do the interviews and stuff once, right? You don't have to, or do you have to go through that a second time?
Twice.
I don't even know what to say about that, but it is doesn't surprise me. It is what it is. Okay, so everything you do for the probationary, you have to do again when you do the permanent. Right. And then I haven't got to this part yet, but when I renew my 5-year, this is a lot more simple, right? So once my 5 years is expired, Well, let's talk about what happens at that point, how easy it is to renew another 5 years after that.
Okay. The procedure of getting the spousal visa here in the Philippines, you got it right. The first one is probation. Why is it in place in the Bureau of Immigration? Because they have encountered before that the marriage is arranged. That is the probation all about. They're gonna observe you if you're really a legit couple here, so on and so forth. And before the expiry of the 12-month probation, then you can actually process the amendment.
Okay.
So the amendment from your probation going to your permanent.
Yeah.
Now, after you have your permanent, or before you can move forward with that, the probation is a totally different or the same set of process, doing it twice. Okay. You go to NBI, you submit your paperwork, you have your PSA. That's the requirement on your probation. The same set of requirement and procedures is also done on the amendment side.
Okay.
Now, the exciting part is after you have your permanent.
Yeah.
The next 5 years will be your issuance, or the next 5 years will be the expiry of your ACRI card.
Okay.
Or your identification of your spousal visa.
Yeah.
That does not involve renewing the entire visa process. That's why it's easier.
Okay. Good.
It's less complicated.
I like that. Yeah, less complicated is good. All right, and very last thing then on 13As is, during the 1 year probationary period, can you travel?
Yes, you
So
can.
you can come out and in the country. Okay, so again, I heard people talk, say, no, once you're on the probation, you have to stay here or something, but that's not true.
No.
You can leave for any period of time.
Yes.
So you could leave for 11 months during that. Okay, and come back. All right.
Within your validity of the probation, you can actually travel in and out of the country.
Great.
And one more thing, which is very important. Please be advised that if someone will offer you, like, hey, if you want to have a permanent residency, I'll offer you this kind of visa, and you don't even have the actual marriage, please beware.
Yeah.
You will be in a bad position.
Absolutely. That's a very good advice.
Because I have heard that there are actually situations in that, and I cannot afford to see our foreign friends being here wanted to have that, because if you wanted to stay in the Philippines and you're an American, you have 3 years.
Right.
Why not go for directly going to the permanent residency, if going to the spousal visa, even if you don't have the actual marriage? That is very risky.
Yes.
What is at stake? You being deported, you being arrested, and you being blacklisted.
That is not worth the risk.
No.
No.
Not even.
No. Awesome. All right, let's switch a little bit, gears a little bit to the SRRV visa. Now, I don't know pretty much anything about that particular visa, but people often ask me, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I really can't help it there. But why don't you just give an overview of what an SRRV is and the requirements and how easy that is to obtain?
Okay, the SRRV, or the Special Residence Retirees Visa, is actually a special visa under the Philippine Retirement Authority with the major government office under the Department of Tourism. One objective is to encourage foreign nationals to relocate, retire in the Philippines. That's the main thing.
Okay.
Qualifications, 50 years old and above.
Okay.
Married or unmarried, you can apply. Second requirement would be $20,000 US deposit. It will stay there in the bond as a bond.
20,000.
Yes. It will stay there up until you have your visa, and they will actually return that if you cancel your visa by any reason. So either you go back to your country, or you get married, you transfer to 13A.
Okay.
Now, second, police background check stating that no criminal record you have from your country of origin, or the latest residence that you have prior to entry to the Philippines. If you're more than 70 years old, you're already exempt to that.
Okay.
And those are actually one of the major requirements that you need to really fill in. Now, categories.
Yeah.
What are the categories of the retirement visa? First is what we call classic.
Okay.
So, if you don't have any pension, as long as you have your money, you want to have a permanent residency here, you can actually take the SRRV classic category. Put in the money, and then we'll process the other requirements for you.
Okay.
Actually, retirement visa is one of the most flexible visa that we encounter. Flexible. If you're married and you wanted to retain your permanent residency here, retirement visa would be a good option for you. Why? It does not go with your marriage, because on the marriage side, once you get separated, for immigration law, you need to downgrade back or revert back to tourist.
Right.
If you're on a working visa, 9G working visa, if you separated with the company, you are also required to revert back to tourist or cancel your 9G working visa. Now, going back, if you can present a proof of pension, we're talking about lowering down the visa deposit.
Right.
Because this might be interesting.
That's what people want to hear, believe me. I'm already thinking about that, because that's the biggest, I got to put 20,000 and I don't get it back until, Go ahead.
So, if you can present a proof of pension or statement that you're receiving at least 800 to 1,000 USD, the visa deposit will go down from 20 to 10,000 US.
Oh, we're getting down. Okay, go halfway.
Halfway. I think the best way is still up and coming. Huh?
Yes, I do.
Now, one-time application fee, 1760 with classic and classic with pension, the same. Now, the best part is number 3. If you have served the U.S. military and you can provide a DD-214, you can actually provide a proof of pension at least 1,000 US dollars per month. You can provide a police clearance with no criminal record. 20, 10, 1,500.
That sounds more reasonable.
So that's where the hierarchy is.
Right.
So visa deposit, we're talking about visa on that aspect, 20, 10, and 1,500.
Okay. Let's say that you can't get find a way to get that down, and you have to put 20,000 in. Is it correct that you can use that money as an investment, like in a property or something?
Yes, there's an option.
True? So you could, if rather than not get the money back, just have 20,000 sitting in an account doing nothing. You could purchase something, and that would be allowed.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that correct?
There's an option.
Okay.
2 options.
All right, go ahead, give it to us.
One is a purchase of a condominium unit ready for occupancy with a title, with a tax declaration, and the deed of absolute sale named to the foreigner.
Okay.
Why? I'll explain to you later. Second option, long-term lease of a house and lot. The lease would be at least 25 years.
Okay.
And the total value of that lease amount would be at least 50,000 US.
Okay.
And the first option also is the total value of the property is also 50,000 US.
Okay.
Now, what's the catch?
Tell us.
The catch is the retirement office will give you back your visa deposit up until they put a lien on your title of your property.
Okay.
So in effect, there's an exchange of visa deposit.
Yeah.
They may not take the physical title with them, but at the end of the day, there's already a lien on your title, which states approximately that the sale, the mortgage, of these properties shall be subject to the Philippine Retirement Authority. That's the catch, in which most of the retirees right now have not, or possible retiree applicants have not understood that very well. And I'm happy to let your subscribers know that that's one of the things that you need to consider.
Okay.
Because if I'm on your perspective, I can actually I can take a look at it in the other way. At any point in time, I know that I have 10 grand there. I can do that as my forced savings, and I live on what I have.
Yeah.
I can do that. But rather than pushing it 50,000, spend 50,000, and get the 20,000, sometimes it wouldn't make sense.
Right.
But if you're the type of person that, hey, I can grow this 20,000, much more that it can be, or 50,000 or more, then take it.
Okay. Very good. Anything else on SRRV visas?
Another thing is from classic with pension and expanded courtesy category, one-time application fee is $1,760 and $1,400. Now, the reoccurring fee every year is what we call ID renewal, because you'll be issued with a proper identification of the retirement visa. Now, $360, $10.
Okay.
So the $10 is waiving. The third category is really the best deal that you can have.
Sure.
Just look for your DD 214. It could be your ticket. Because right now, if you're gonna stay here in the Philippines doing tourist visa extension, it will cost you roughly around $500 a year. When you're gonna take a look at that, you're gonna spend like probably $3,000. You can get that value in the next 3 to 4 years.
Right, right.
And $10 a year would not hurt you.
No, no. That sounds reasonable.
Very reasonable.
Yeah. Okay, very good. Let's chat a bit about tourist visas. Now, I know the laws keep changing, I think, on tourist visas, and I think they recently have changed about for the length of time you can renew a tourist visa. First of all, you do tourist visa renewals,
Exactly,
right? That's part of your service. Okay. So what is the actual current law on tourist visas? Because I heard things like you can only get 2 months at a time now, unless you go to Manila, then you can get 6 months or whatever. What is the truth about tourist visas now and getting extensions, and how long you can get extensions? You already kind of mentioned what it's going to cost, but so let's talk about that.
Okay. A tourist visa extension. The latest news that we have really from the source in Manila, especially on dealing with the government offices every day, they have permanently suspended the 6 months.
Okay, so even in Manila, it's not true that you can, because again, things we hear, you know, I don't know, that's why it's good to have you here, because we'll get the accurate information. So you can't go to Manila and get a 6 month. It's just, that's just the new law. Okay.
Because we have a liaison officer, which is duly accredited by the Bureau of Immigration, transacting there almost every day.
Okay.
And when they say to me, hey, sir, 6 months extension is already out.
Okay.
Okay, where's the advisory? We are still waiting for that. However, I made some validations on that. I go to the website for the e-services, and the options there is only 1 and 2 months only. So it signifies right now, what are they trying to do for the 1 and 2 months option? The 6 months option is not even there already. Okay. Because I think late last year, they have already rolled it out to have the suspension. However, on the e-services of the Bureau of Immigration website, 6 months is still there. Okay. I just checked it a few days ago. So that's the reason why it will be like the reality right now that the 6 months extension is already gone. However, 6 months extension is one-time transaction on that aspect. However, don't be afraid because the 36 months is still there.
Right, right.
Like taking a look at the good side of it, because it's only like probably the concern there is you doing the frequency of going to the
it's
immigration.
Just the inconvenience, constantly
it's just
every
the inconvenience.
60 days having to go in. That is an inconvenience.
And that's where we came in. So they can actually call us, JR, I need extension. Okay, I'll see you every 2 months. Right. However, this could be much more alarming if the Philippine government or Philippine immigration would shorten the allowable stay on tourist visa. That is more alarming than the tourist visa extension. What if they're gonna say, hey, we're not gonna allow 36 months anymore. They can only just stay here for 12 months.
Right.
But it's only the mode of your option for the length of extension. I think that's still manageable. And I truly believe that the foreigners coming here wanted to have another life.
Yeah.
And when they have that life, we have a different culture here.
That's for sure.
If you actually bring your culture here, 100%, you will be disappointed.
Yes,
you will be stressed out. Everything, your life here will be miserable.
I agree.
However, if you learn to adopt it on a daily basis, stretching out your patience, you could live the best that you can be on your years here in the Philippines.
Like I am.
I can see that smile.
Yes, absolutely.
So that is where we at. And sometimes it's a reality check. We cannot please everyone.
Nope.
However, what we're trying to do is we send the message, get the message. If you need help, that is where we came into play.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, we've talked about a lot of stuff today. We talked about the 30 days, SRRVs, tourist visas, the property services you offer.
Yes.
Do you have any final thoughts or words you wanna say about your company?
First, I would like to thank you. I truly appreciate you.
Very well, thank you.
Having me in your channel. It's my privilege. And we shared, before making this video, we actually shared some thoughts on it. And we have the same page. We're doing this for us to really give you a good resource of information.
Yes.
That is where we at. And once you have that, and when you actually like comment on the channel, okay, hey, I have done it correctly because of your channel, we're very happy.
Yeah, yeah. And if anybody wants more information, how can they contact you, or can they contact you? Is any email you can give, or how would they get hold of you?
Okay. If you wish to have an assistance from our end, you can actually reach us out through our website, and we have also our Facebook page for JRC Visa Consultancy and Immigration Services. Or you can also pay us a visit on our branches. In Manila, we are located near in the DFA area, and also in Dumaguete and Cebu. And you can also search us in Google. We have our contact numbers there. It's very easy, and just reach us out. Just reach us out, and we will be very happy to hear you out and moving forward on how we can resolve your issues here in the Philippines.
Anyway, so thanks so much for being here, and I hope this has been informative for those that are considering getting a visa, a permanent visa or retirement visa, or whatever you're looking for. So thank you for the time. Thank you guys for watching, and well, I'll see you on my next video.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.